Hello and welcome to this video, and on this video I will be reviewing the new album by KNOWER which came out today, and it's called KNOWER Forever. I've been a big fan of KNOWER for a number of years now. They're one of my favourite bands on the scene today, right? And that is very relevant because I'm going to be talking about an album that's come out today by a relatively new band. They're definitely a new band when you compare it to the sort of stuff I talk about on this channel. And so you are right that this is a desperate attempt for me to appear cool to you lot. And I hope today I look pretty cool. You know, I've got the sunglasses on, I've got the dark top, right? You know, I've styled my hair a little bit, and I think coolness represented by sunglasses in the way I am representing it is a key feature of KNOWER. To me, they seem a very, very cool band. They seem a band that is dealing with cultural issues of today, and they do that in a very late stage postmodernist way, and I'm going to be getting into all that on this video. But first, let's just talk about the actual album. I've listened to it twice. If I was going to score it out of 10, I would give it a 9 out of 10. I absolutely love it. I wouldn't give it a 10 out of 10 because I've only listened to it twice. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fantastic. It gave us everything that we expect from KNOWER. Absolutely brilliant. So if you don't know who KNOWER are, I will now tell you. It's highly likely that you are not watching the video if you don't know who they are. But anyway, KNOWER have actually been around for quite a while. They formed in 2009 and released their first album, which I think was a self-release on Bandcamp, in 2010. So they've been around for 13 years. It's basically a duo. It's the multi-instrumentalist Louis Cole, who is predominantly a drummer but seems to be able to play everything with incredible virtuosity, and the incredible singer Genevieve Attardi, who they are both graduates of the USC Music Jazz College. They're incredible musicians. Genevieve has a very delicate, quiet voice, but she has a ton of virtuosity. The music is a mixture of incredible funk, which is laced with a big dose and influence from EDM, techno, that type of sound. It's punctuated with incredible improvisation, which is really coming out of the sort of, I would say, early jazz fusion, you know, where they were really burning. So when they go for a solo, they really go for it. Louis Cole was really influenced by Miles Davis, the Jack DeJohnette period. I think he's a big fan of Live at the Fillmore. And the soloing sounds like quantized Live at the Fillmore. That's the best way I could describe it. It's not quantized. They are incredible players. They are playing this for real. I first came across KNOWER in 2016 when they brought a video out of a song of theirs called Overtime, and it went really viral. This video was shot sort of lo-fi on iPhones in somebody's living room. It had loads of memes, lots of sunglasses, and they would just play this incredible funky track with incredible pop hooks. When they want to, they really can give you some pop hooks. So you got this really sort of commercial pop hooky thing, and then really funky, really tight. Louis Cole's insane drumming, which is really his style now. You know, he's really come out of his drum teacher Nate Wood, and it goes back to drummers like Jojo Mayer who've taken sort of influences from electronic music and pummeled it through. That's a very signature sound for KNOWER. Louis Cole has this harmonic landscape. Some of it is really beautiful. On this album, it opens up with a big sort of orchestral piece with brass, strings, choir. It's absolutely beautiful, and they have this sort of beautiful harmony, sort of post-impressionist harmony mixed with this heavy funk, you know, which I absolutely love. I love it, right? When Overtime came out, we were all blown away, and so I went and got their album, which was called Life. Now, Life didn't sound like that video. I wanted them to sound a little bit more like they did in the Overtime video, in the Time Traveller video, which is another one that came out at the same time, and it did, and it sounded a lot more produced and controlled. And it was a great album, but I preferred the live versions where everything had been done in a room on the spot, including using that sort of room sound and the acoustics of being in an enclosed space, you know, not dialing that out with the production. With this album, that's precisely what they have done. They've already released a couple of videos, and it's the usual KNOWER thing where they're in a room with about 1 billion musicians, and there's lots of interesting things going on, lots of surprises, lots of memes, and this album sounds like that, which I really loved. I think this is the best KNOWER album to date. I think that if we look at KNOWER, the last studio album, because they brought out some live stuff, but the last studio album was 7 years ago. This band have been around for a while now. They've been around for some time. This is the thing. But when you're my age, and you know, I'm rapidly becoming the poster boy voice of the boomer Gen X generation. You know, for us, this seems like a new band, all right? And I think that's very, very important. The album's got some incredible stuff on it, incredible playing. The soloing is intense. I do really like it. You know, I've recently done a video, I've criticised modern jazz playing as being a little bit lacking individuality. And I think that's the case on this album, but they do it in a knowing way. They know it is, you know. There's a pianist on this album, I don't know his name. In particular, every solo he does is just a big wall of virtuosity. It's just a stream of 60 notes at like 180 BPM. It just blows your face off, you know. And I actually like that because I think it sits within their aesthetic, right? It's interesting they're called KNOWER because they're very knowing. They're very self-referential. They're very ironic. They're very cool, right? You can't pin them down. They haven't got an opinion. What their viewpoint is that of their generation, I suppose, which is different to mine, where everything is being referred back on itself. And I think that I find that really interesting, to be honest. I find it is a very accurate critique of what is going on in our culture today. And KNOWER have been brilliant at being able to negotiate their way through the modern digital world. They got famous originally by doing sort of postmodern ironic cover versions of pop songs in much the same way as Dirty Loops did, you know, with lots of, you know, insane harmony being put in and virtuosity. So you get that pop thing and you get the sort of, you know, instrumental jazz virtuosity all put together. And I think what's interesting, especially with KNOWER, far more than Dirty Loops, is that is ironic, right? We're always having a little smile when we watch KNOWER because of what they're doing. On earlier albums, they would often do a lot of quite beautiful ballad type stuff. On this album, it is there and it's absolutely beautiful, but they do hit hard. They hit harder than they have before on a whole host of tracks. The album is like 40 minutes long, 45 minutes long, so it feels like an album. When I listened to it, I got to the end and I'd really enjoyed it, and I put it on and listened to it all again because I enjoyed it so much, which never happens on modern albums. They're usually like an hour and 10 minutes long, and by the time I got to the end of it, I have lost interest. So, yeah, it's a fantastic album. When I discovered KNOWER, we waited for the next album to come along and it didn't, and Louis Cole brought an album out called Time, which I think is a real masterpiece. It's incredible. I really love that album, and then we waited, and last year he brought an album called Quality Over Opinion, and I was a little bit let down by that album. It didn't seem to have the kick and the punch of Time or what we expect from KNOWER. On this album, I think it really is a return to form. Okay, so I now want to deal with my viewpoint of it. You know, I'm going to get postmodern and ironic, right, on this, because anyone who watches my channel knows that I can get a little bit postmodern. You know, those who criticise me for having the boomer view, which I just saw a message on one of my videos, the video for Nuno Betancourt, and someone said this is the most boomer video on YouTube, which I had a little wry smile, a postmodern ironic smile, because I do that myself, knowing that that's the case. I push that button, right, all the time. There's always underlying undercurrents in my videos, which are often going against what I'm trying to say, okay? that's what I love about KNOWER. That's what I love about this album. I don't know what their position is. I don't know what they think about things, right? When I read the lyrics, they're opaque. Genevieve swears a lot all the way through it. And of course, cool groups swear, don't they? We know that because if you watch a hip hop video now, it's full of those sort of expletives, because that is our establishment view of what being transgressive is. Okay? We all know there's a whole bunch of things we can't say on the internet because we'll get cancelled, right? But swearing and talking about sexual stuff, all the stuff that was seen in the 50, 60 years ago at the beginning of postmodern as being transgressive, that's all part of the establishment. That's fine, you know. And that goes all the way through it. I mean, again, you know, when you hear Genevieve swearing and saying stuff about President Trump and all that sort of stuff, you have a little wry smile, and you don't know what her position is. You don't know what the position of the band is. So if I get postmodern and I step back a little bit, what I find interesting about this is that I really love it, right? It seems like a breath of fresh air. It doesn't seem like a lot of mainstream popular music, even though it's coming out today. It seems very cool and it seems very of the time, but it doesn't seem like your bog standard, very computerized, simplistic music of people boasting, you know, that thing that we see a lot of in the modern pop music, which us Gen X and Boomers, we don't like it. You know, we have grown up with a different set of values. KNOWER comes along and they seem to be doing all that stuff, but in a knowing way. Also, they are pushing buttons that people my age love. You know, they're really playing. They're really playing, and they can prove that because you see them in the room playing live, right? They're incredible musicians. The skill level is there. The music is very compelling. The harmony is complex. You know, can you imagine Rick Beato analysing a KNOWER track? He would become very excited because the harmony is incredible. Right, the structure of the music is incredible. They stick to pop song format and they will cram some incredible soloing in. This is pushing all the buttons of someone of my age with my values and my sort of aesthetic view of the world will love, and I do love them. Right, but the thing is that when I love them, I feel cool. But the question is if whether that coolness is actually a little bit broken. Right? Because is it the fact that KNOWER predominantly are liked by people my age, which seems to be in my subjective network the case? It's not a band that's liked by young people that old people just happen to like. It's really liked by older people, right? So we have a situation where there's this really cool band. A lot of old people love them and they think it's really cool. And on this channel, so often when somebody says you don't listen to new music, you're not checking out the new jazz scene, you're not checking out this, blah blah blah, when that accusation comes my way, the band I always go to try and counter that is KNOWER. And I go, well, I love KNOWER, I love Louis Cole. You can see me say that in a number of videos. That is what they represent to me. The question is whether they represent that for real. And the fact is that there is no for real, right? There is no for real. And that is one of the big differences between my generation's view with our values of what music should be, and then on top of that, our sort of moral view of the world, okay? We have that view of the world against a new generation coming in that have a different view of the world. Now, I get tired of people saying to me, oh, it's always been like this. This is just a new generation coming in with a new set of values. They like a different set of music. When we look back on this set of music in history, we will see the value of it. Right, don't you think I know that? I know that. I know that, okay? I'm no fool. But it's more complex than that because art forms have epochs and they represent something. And I'm interested in what the music that I grew up with and those values represent, and what we will gain and what we will lose as those values slowly die away and we go into this new cultural landscape where the values are different. I'm interested in looking and exploring those values. right? And for me, KNOWER are a band that are doing that very, very well, right? They might be speaking more to musicians who just appreciate the incredible technique on these albums, and older people who appreciate the fact that they're really making the music and it's full of interest and technical skill, right? I could see that as being an interesting thing, you know, because they are utilising all the tropes and approaches that digital technologies and this late end postmodernist culture that we're in, which is now pretty much cracking, they represent that brilliantly. So I'm going to finish up now, but I just want to make one point before we go, because this is the point that the album has popped into my head. Right? We live in an age where there is a real tension between the ideas of equity and of equality. If you read the Equality Act, the Human Rights Act, which I think is an incredible thing, that protects the rights of all sorts of different people. You know, people of different races, different sexual orientation, all these types of things are protected in that, including old people. And what I'm seeing, and I'm here to counter this, what I'm seeing is, for many people, they do not feel they need to counter the arguments I put forward on this channel. It is okay just to say you are a boomer. Right? And one of the things that's happened, I think, culturally, is our view is just diminished because it's the view of somebody who's relatively old. Now, that in itself is a wonderful thing. That's what young people should be doing, and they should be kicking against us, without a doubt. And because we have come up in this postmodernist culture, we're probably the first generation that will go, yeah, that's the case. Yeah, you should be pushing back, you know. We're not going to sit there like the generation before and come down on that generation, which really is the embodiment of rock and roll, you know. That is what crystallised the music that we all love. But we're too knowing, aren't we? That our age group is too knowing. We know to say, yes, it's like you young people, you're right to be doing this. It's the natural order of things, okay? All that stuff is going on. If you think I am criticising it, I am not. I'm critiquing it. I'm trying to point it out. And in a funny way, I feel KNOWER are doing that on this album. It's a fantastic album, by the way. Go and check it out. Go and check KNOWER out. It's absolutely brilliant. If you want to know what I think about it, and that's why you clicked on, that's what I think. I absolutely love it. And I hope I have at least scratched at the surface of the sort of cultural implications of this band. So I think that's my review done now. I'm going to put my normal glasses on. Hang on. Oh, that's better. Right, yes. Oh, look at that. 18 minutes. I like my videos to be 20 minutes long. Right? I've got what I call teacher skills. You know, I can talk, and I can talk for a certain amount of time and land exactly on the timing I got. It's one of the skills I'm very proud of, that I can do that. And I've managed to do it on this video. And we're actually at... We're coming up to 19 minutes, which leaves me with a minute just to say goodbye to you all and finish off and do all that. And I will be nice and tight within the 20-minute time space that I've allotted myself, which will please my sort of OCD, anal retentive personality that I have because I'm a progressive rock fan, and all that will make me happy. In fact, I'm going to really try and land it on the 20-minute mark here. So, if you like this video, if you want to see more of this content, then subscribe and ring the notification bell, okay? If you want to get deeper into what I do and support me on this channel, I have a Patreon down below there. Click the link. I've nearly got 100 videos up there now, all sorts of different stuff. I've got like, you can download loads of albums, there's articles, and a ton of video content. Some of it is me playing and a lot of it is me talking like this, but on Patreon I have a much wider remit. I will just sort of pick a topic and go off on one. I don't tend to have that sort of clickbaity title that draws you in. which can be a real problem on YouTube. And that's the problem that I'm having here. But I hope me mentioning KNOWER pleased you, and I'll see you on the next video. Hello and welcome to this video, and on this video I'm going to be reviewing the... I'll start again. Hello and welcome to this video, and on this video I will be reviewing the latest album that's come out today by KNOWER, and it's called KNOWER Forever. And if you're wondering why I am unable to do my usual snappy start, it's because I'm wearing these sunglasses and I cannot see anything at the moment, and it put me off a little bit when I hit record. But you're probably asking, why is he wearing sunglasses? And why is he wearing sunglasses when he can't see anything, right? That's a good question. Well, the reason is for the first time, well, I've done it before, but this is the first time I've released, oh God, this is rubbish.